What's up, everybody? This is Suresh from Mind is a Monkey, coming at you guys with another episode of Let's Check Out Some Diecast. Now, as you can see from the background today, we are going to be checking out some tuned cars, but not any general mini series in the Hot Wheels main lines, but instead, we are going to be checking out this pretty cool crossover between tuned and Gulf cars, right? Let me just like set it there and zoom out the camera a little so that we can check this out in better detail. So there we have it. So in the United States, these were marketed as Walmart exclusives. It's a pretty cool series of 5 cars, 5 tuned cars. So we have the tuned Volkswagen Golf Mark 1, the 70 Dodge Charger, the tuned 83 Chevy Silverado, the Manga Tuner, and the 94 Toyota Supra, right? So in my last video about the tuned cars, we saw that, how these were progressing, definitely progressing from, just been there, done that, one and done kind of a car, to definitely a series that is, gaining more popularity, with the introduction of some really nice models like the Porsche, the Mazda, and, the Supra and the Charger, right? It's just been getting more and more popular with the addition of the Liberty Walk Skyline and, like the Manga Tuner and stuff like that. So it's really not nice. And we've also had some other cars like the tuned Dodge Charger Daytona and the Batmobile, tuned Batmobile, which also happened to be a super in that year, right? So, needless to say, this is definitely, gaining a lot of popularity. Whether it is popular among collectors, how collectible they are, I think that would roll up to everyone's individual tastes, right? So, but having said that, I am pretty pumped about this set. So back in the middle of 2024, when T-Hunted blog kind of like posted about this, I was really excited because, that was also the time I was like getting, I was noticing that this was becoming a much stronger line, than some, tuned, cute version of cars and stuff like that. And one thing I want to emphasize is the card art on pretty much each of these cars, like very unique designs. I kind of like hate the fact that I'm gonna have to rip these. And before I forget, I want to give a shout out to my friend Jordan Bilgo, who kind of like snagged this set for me, right? So these never showed up in the Walmarts adjacent to my home. So Jordan, thank you so much for being on the lookout. So circling back to the point of the card art, right? So check this out. So this is the Golf, right? Golf tuned Mark 1 Gulf and everything. And then, the 70s Dodge Charger. Check that out. Dodge muzzle tuned 440 Charger RT, right? And then we have the tuned 83 Chevy Silverado, 1983. Just check that out, right? So really retro, cartoonish vibes, I should say. Almost like it's jumping at you out of a comic book, right? So check that out. Tuned Manga Tuner, right? So really nice. I mean, if I kind of like come across these cars again, which I don't think, the chances are pretty slim, but you never know, I am definitely going to snag a set, just to preserve these card arts. So it's pretty cool, right? So that there we have the Toyota Mark 4 Supra 1994. Really, all the details about the car kind of like being captured in the card art. So I think that's pretty cool. All right. So without further delay, let's dive right into checking out these cars one by one. So at number 1, we have the tuned Volkswagen Golf Mark 1. So nice solid blue, deep blue variation of the Gulf deco, right? So nice Gulf and Volkswagen, and on the tailplate we have tuned, right? So nice car. We have definitely seen releases of this car in the past as a main line and as part of the anniversary series, right? So let's set that right there. At number 2, we have the 70s Dodge Charger. Yeah, popularized by Fast and Furious. So the Dodge muzzle, tuned 440. That's what it says on the card. Oh, wow. I gotta admit, that looks really cool in that, the legendary OG Gulf colors, I should say, right? Wow. I mean, that's the kind of like the first combination that would come to your mind when somebody says Gulf, right? So that's what I meant. So nice, sporting the number 7 and Goodyear Gulf for deco. Yep, there we have it. So these would be some nice companion cars to these earlier tuned releases of the 70 Dodge Charger. So let's set them back. At number 3, we have the tuned 83 Chevy Silverado. Honestly, I think with regards to the cars, I think it's a pretty cool selection of cars, right? So we have all those hearted aspects, right? So the front engine and the tailpipes and everything. So pretty cool. Nice exhaust on the side and stuff like that. Other than that, good old Gulf livery, right? And I wanted to add, these are like not your basic main lines, but these Walmart exclusive series are they their own semi-premium kind of series. These are like almost $3, possibly $3.50 a pop, and so they bring in some additional details like the tail lights or something compared to a main line. So what I'm trying to say is, with regard, see, this is the main line, right? So this is your a dollar a piece main line, and this is your more premium $3. So there you would see the tail lights and additional details like the tail plate, and even on the front, okay, this looks pretty much the same to me, right? But for the additional deco and stuff like that. But again, I think the main emphasis is on the tail lights. So that's kind of like the additional detail they provide for that price point. At number 4, we have the Manga Tuner. Now, I almost thought, I mean, like when I saw the series first, I almost thought that this was like a new model or something like that. But when I checked my earlier collection, that I figured that this has once made an appearance, in the 54th anniversary series, right? So there we have it. So this is another combination of Gulf colors that we have earlier seen in Hot Wheels cars, the white, blue, and orange, right? So supposed to be one of those. I think it's called Bosozaku. It's like that, really hearted cars and fancy tailpipes and everything. It's like a style. It's a Japanese style of cars. I think it's either Hosozaku or Bosozaku. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry. All right, so there we have it at number 4, the Manga Tuner, and last we have the 94 Toyota Supra. They kind of like had to finish the series with a bang, so they probably chose a JDM model, so which is pretty cool, I would say, sporting the number 9 Gulf Toyota livery. Nice detailing on the tail lights. Wow, just check out that spoiler, right? Really, really nice, execution, I should say, right? So there we have it, the 5 cars of the, Tuned and Gulf crossover, right? So which one's your favorite? I think I'm gonna go with, the Toyota Supra would be my number 1 for execution, and then by popularity, I would fall onto the Silverado at number 2. Pretty much, these 3 guys are contenders for, number 3. I kind of like regret the fact that this one had like a tampo scratch or something, but I think, some of these things are inevitable. Now, I'm really interested and excited about, the opportunities that these tuned cars could hold in the future, right? So now, in the past, we know that Hot Wheels has made some of these decos really popular among collectors, right? One of them is the one that we have right here, which is Gulf, right? Other things that kind of like cross my mind are Moon Eyes, Momo Racing, Advan, and it would be really interesting to see an HW Art Cars miniseries being having a crossover with these tuned cars. So it's really nice. I mean, we still definitely have like the Mazda and the Porsche and the Batmobile and the Daytona. So they keep making more of these tuned cars. Sooner or later, we're gonna have enough cars, that would just not be like boring repeats, but really bring in a variety when Mattel is coming up with these crossovers. I'm really excited about this semi-premium lineup of Tuned and Gulf, right? Hope you like that content. Check out more videos on the channel. Till I see you guys next time, this is Suresh signing off. Rock on and stay awesome. Bye everyone.